Hello, everyone. We are very happy to welcome you in the autumn edition of Collectors Forum. Hi, Carlos.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. We are great. Good morning to you. Good morning to Peru. Great to see you. So I will just make a small introduction about this lecture and discussion with you. This autumn we have as a guest speaker Carlos Marsano from Peru. The event is in the frame of Future Unforgettable Phase VI, the final phase of Future Unforgettable. So we are hopefully talking about the future of collecting and the great examples that can lead us to the future of collecting. And we hope to open a different perspective on art collecting and collecting as a process of interconnecting different types of logic and ensuring an artwork continuity. For us, collecting is just creating new path for the work and for the artist. So as Carlos proposed, the topic of this lecture will be collecting as connecting. His statement is collecting is connecting. So Carlos, can we directly start with this? Let's jump into the topic.
Perfect.
So
Do you have any questions to begin?
Yes. Why collecting is connecting and how it's happening, how this connecting is happening?
I think the world of connecting is huge. When you begin, I get in love with art since very young. My father was a collector, so I was raised at home looking art. And also I remember I was 9, 10, I used to go to studio visits and galleries with my parents. So when I was 18, Peru is a country of history. We have pre-Columbian history, remember Machu Picchu, the Incas. So I began to collect pre-Columbian art since I was 29. Then I went to live abroad. And when I was 33, I was living in Brazil, where I get in touch with the fantastic world of contemporary art. That's where my journey begins. I always tell this story. I met a fantastic gallerist. His name is Thomas Kohn. He already passed away. One of the most brilliant men I met on the art world. He discovered great talent, and he always told me, buy your own generation and the following ones, so you will be able to see them growth. So based on that concept, begins my journey. At the end, this journey begins on one road, it goes to the next road, and then goes to a highway, and you begin to define different lines on what you like and what you are trying to build. Because when you have a body of work, it needs to have connections and lines that gets connected and create different kind of dialogues. I'm very focused on young contemporary, and based on that, I strongly believe in connecting because we are part of an ecosystem where you have institutions which are the base of everything. You have artists, you have curators, you have collectors and other participants. And when you are dealing with young artists, that's the main moment where they need support. And there are different ways to connect with them. You connect through institutions, participating with them, not only giving money, because you can help them to connect with curators or bring new supporters. That there are different ways of support, but with the artists, especially when they are young, it's very important to help them to get to know curators or institutions or make their work available to other viewers. And based on that, I have different experiences that I think are very important. Well, the greatest one is with a young Bulgarian artist that I will speak later. But for example, 2 years ago, I went to the Dhaka Art Summit, which is an amazing event. It's organized by Diane Campbell Betancourt. an amazing curator. And I went from Peru to Dhaka, I think it was like 30 hours. And they have this art summit with curators from all over the world, top institutions, and more than 45 artists that were showing there. It was a fantastic event. And they have the National Award for the Young Contemporary Artist. So I met there a very young artist. She was 27 at that moment. She was coming out of leukemia. It was a short girl with a huge smile. Her name is Ashfika Raman, fantastic photographer. And she was doing activism through photography in the borders of Bangladesh, in areas where problems with women and where like lots of violence. And with her camera and her relationship with communities, she had a huge impact. Based on that, I met Ashfika, and then unconsciously we begin to speak every 1 week, and I introduced to different people our galleries, and she got a gallery, was interested in her work, and she had a solo show during Art Basel in Basel about her work. So those are different ways that you can help people to connect. And today, for example, I will show different kind of young artists that I've been discovering during the last year that for many of you will be totally new. And it's also a way of connecting.
I understand your notion of connecting artists to the art system, connecting different parts of the world in a logic. But also it was from what you were saying, it was connecting with your father's passion to art. It's connecting in the frame of the family, connecting some history, and also giving continuation. And also it's connecting your personal level and understanding to some people all over the world. So it's also learning a lot. It's not only that are helping, because many people are saying their collectors are helping the art system. No, I think that the collecting is kind of enrichment of the collectors as well. So may I ask, so maybe you discovered the world on the way of collecting, or no?
I think, well, I define myself as an art lover, because sometimes the word collector, you use it, but it's extremely pretentious. I think through art, you discover the whole world, and the friends you make through art are the first ones you call when you arrive to a city, because you share a passion, you have knowledge in common, and it's a permanent learning process. When I was mentioning collecting on the level of artists is one part, but you connect with many layers on your life, family, intellectual, psychological, anthropological. There are too many layers that you can be touching on a daily basis, which makes a really rich journey along your life.
Yes, and can you tell us why exactly new talents? You are mainly focused in discovering new talents, and can you give us advice how to find young talent?
I think during the last 5 years, I've been concentrated on focusing on young talent because I want to build a body of work of a generation. So like in 20 years, it will have a meaning. And it's also very interesting to see all the transition of these artists, because when we will speak about Rudi, what he showed us 4 years ago that he was in Lima is totally different what he's doing right now. So it's like a living process. It's very interesting.
Yes, so we are talking about Rudi Ninov, and this is a small secret about our connection, because how we connected again, of course, through art, through love of art, through my passion and love of Rudi's work, and through your love and passion of Rudi's work, Rudi Ninov. So we'll be talking later on about this, but yeah, thanks to that, this Zoom talk is possible between Bulgaria and Peru. Yeah, I'm very happy that you selected some photos for us, and some artists that you want to share and talk to about, some young artists that you discovered recently. And now our audience can see in a minute some images, some artists that you selected.
But what's really interesting is the process. Yes. What's interesting is the process of finding artists, because
so maybe you can hold on with the works and
with image. Yes, but for example, we are not wizards. No, we look information. The fact that you used to travel to art fairs, for example, that's a very important source. When you go to an important art fair, it's already curated. So when you go to Art Basel, you know that there is a very strong selection committee. So the galleries that are participating there are serious programs, serious directors. Or you go to Liste in Basel during Art Basel, or you go to Frieze or Artissima. They are very serious art fairs. So you are on an environment of trust, which is very, very important. And the relationship that you build with gallerists, for me, is extremely important, because the gallerist is the mother and the father of the artist. You control the ego, you help them to relate to institutions, to collectors, you give advice. And sometimes young artists are too eager to raise prices, probably. But no, you control them, you go pace by pace, not to blow them, you protect them from flippers. So there is a whole story behind this. So that's why it's very important, that relationship. And also at the end, that directors of galleries become your friends, because I live far away. I live in Peru, at the end of the world. My collection is not in Peru, but when you trust someone, she can show you an image on the screen and you will see what's going on. And because there is trust, you don't need to see the work in the whole detail, because you know who is sending you that image and there is no tricks behind that. So that's that's why it's very important relationship with the galleries. And the work you do also to promote, to become much more global, is really, really important for your art scene and for people who love art around the world. I think now we can see some images of
thank you. Super. Thank you very much for respecting so much the galleries, because sometimes in the digital art world, when everything is coming again digital, some people are forgetting about the role of the gallery. But thank you so much for sharing this.
I don't buy artists who sell directly.
Super. So this is very important to know. This is actually this is very important to know.
Because they don't respect the system. You invest on them, and if they don't respect the different layers of the system, what's the purpose? You need to build trust along the whole value chain.
Ilko, yes. Okay. Okay. So let's see.
Fantastic. I was mentioning before about Ashvika Raman. This is some images of her work. I met her during the Dakar Summit. She's a brilliant young photographer. The idea when we were speaking with Vesselina was to share some young names that probably most of you are not aware of them. Then you can do your homework at home, watching about them. These are works of photography of Ashvika that I mentioned, that she uses photography as a medium to do activism. She has some images of. Sorry. Hello.
Yes.
No, someone was speaking. No, I said these are photographies of Ashvika. So I think she's brilliant, and right now she's going to be on a triennial of photography. She's 29. She was just in a cover of a magazine in Germany. So it's an artist that I strongly recommend to watch her work and to see how she developed her career. It's a really brilliant mind. And you cannot imagine this just tiny girl coming out of leukemia with such an energy, such amount of life and joy, ready to go and try to eat the world. That's really amazing. When you see artists that they take challenges and they are not afraid of what they need to do to conquer the world. That's a very important signal for me, because being an artist probably is one of the most difficult careers in the world, because there are so many. It's very it's very like you depend on so many things on your career. So that's part of the challenges. So those images are Africa. Go to the next one.
Yes.
Okay, that image, I cannot see who it's in. Oh, yes. What you are showing there is a young artist called Bianca Kennedy. Bianca Kennedy has also a collective called the Swam Collective. Bianca was introduced to me by the former curator of electronic art of MoMA, Gianpaolo Bianconi. She doesn't have a gallery yet, but she's building a very interesting institutional career. She lives in Berlin. She's around 30 years old. She does video and also virtual reality. One of her works, Animalia Zoom, was on Sundance Festival. And if you like video, is someone to watch very closely.
Yes. So
that image, 2 weeks ago, I'm very close to the new museum in New York, and 2 weeks ago opened the Triennial. The Triennial is one of the main events around the world for young contemporary artists. The curators were Margot Norton and Jamila James, and they did research in 28 countries, and they picked 40 artists. I think I really enjoyed the selection. It's so round, so powerful. And I picked Brandon Knight. He's from New York. He worked with a gallery called Bureau. He does all these sculptures, which are fantastic. I discovered Brandon like 2 years ago with a show at Bureau in New York. And then he had a group show with Matthew Brown in Los Angeles. And I saw his work again at the Triennial, which I found fantastic. So it's an artist that I'm following very, very closely. Yeah. This work is of Brianna Rose Brooks.
Yes.
I was introduced to this the artist by a friend during Independent Art Fair like a year ago. She's represented by Delhi Gallery, and it's very interesting the way she managed the way she paints. I think it's very interesting to watch her closely. And the next artist is going to be, this is okay. This is Brittany Ann Harvey.
Yeah.
I discovered her on my last trip to New York. She had a show with a new gallery that just opened in New York. Is a former director of Casey Kaplan. And 2 curators and 2 different friends told me, go and see the show. I had the opportunity to have long conversations with Brittany. And she studied at Rhode Island School of Design. She has an MFA with textiles. She's very interested in textiles because she was raised in an area that used to be very important of textiles, not anymore. So she tries to see the correlation of what happened in the Middle Age with the textiles and what's going on with the textiles and the garment industry on current days, how technology replaced. So she's a really, really interesting artist with a brilliant mind. Those are some images of her work. You know, if you see, she embroidered them.
Yeah.
And those are small paintings of the current show at the gallery called Someday. So I think she has a very, very interesting practice. And randomly, 3 curators spoke to me about her show. So that means that people are watching what's going on her career.
So just sorry for interrupting you, but when you say you are talking to curators, galleries, so how it's actually happening? There is a show somewhere in the world, and then some people are recommending, and how it's happening, because obviously you are not there to see all the shows, no?
Well, I think when you are on this journey, you have friends all over the world,
Yes.
You know, and they know what you like. And so, hey, Carlos, there is an artist, I think you would like it. So it's more like a sharing experience, no?
Yes. So
I was like,
no, just I'm curious because you said like a 3 curators recommended me her work. So it's very interesting. Sometimes these pragmatical things are very, very interesting. For example, I believe many young collectors will listen to us, so they will be curious probably to know that when you want to start collecting, first of all you visit galleries, but then you talk to curators, you ask curators for recommendations. It's not only galleries and the artists. So this is very essential, I think, especially when we talk to Bulgarian audience, where the scene it's not that rich and not that not that rich in collectors, and we really hope that we will encourage some collectors to start collecting. So that's why I was talking.
Yes, well,
yeah.
It was during the week of the opening of the triennial that I was going to all these young galleries. So I met different people of that segment, young curators. And there's a great show of Brittany. You should meet her or you should go and see it. And I discovered 3 galleries on this trip. One is King's Leap, the other one is Tita Gallery, and the other one is Someday, which represents Brittany. And when you are walking in that environment, people share the gossip.
Super. So it's very important to talk and look and everything. Super. It's great. Yeah. So now why collecting is connecting, it really makes sense, this example. Thank you, Carlos.
For example, this artist, her name is Brooke Sue.
Yeah.
November last year, a director of a gallery that I never worked with in New York, she called me and told me, Carlos, look at this work. And at that moment, she didn't have a gallery, Brooke Sue. Yeah. And I called my friends, and we're a group of friends, and everyone love it. So some people get it, others don't get it, but we share the name. And Brooke was sold out during Art Basel. She has had a very successful show at Kraupataskan in Berlin. So the advantage of sharing or doing research is sometimes you can discover some artists that get really hot at the end, but it's numbers game, no? But that's an interesting story. What you begin looking to an artist and suddenly everyone wants it, and there are no works available.
Yes. Yes, unfortunately, yeah, it happens.
That image is a carpet, is a painted, and the other are small paintings. All these artists, Clemence Latour, a young gallery from New York called me about this show in New York at Smart Objects, and I found it really interesting. The works are with recovered used umbrellas found in different parks, and with those umbrellas, he developed this sort of structures.
Yeah.
That artist is called Dana Locke. Dana Locke, I discovered her like a year ago, and a young painter, and she has amazing paintings, and I've seen them only once in life, but I really, the way that she painted and she managed the different layers and shadows, I found her very, very interesting. The other one, also, this is a young, someone sent me this painting from the studio of this young artist like a few months ago. Her name is Emma McIntyre. She's based in Los Angeles. She's the student of a very good artist I know. So I asked, which is your favorite artist? And she told me, oh, well, this is my favorite student. And she sent me the image of Emma, who was the favorite student of a professor. So professors are also a source of information. And Emma is doing really well right now.
Yeah, I see. She's working also with the Chris Sharp Gallery. Chris Sharp, he actually visited Bulgaria and discovered very good artists here. So yeah, great.
That's great.
Super.
Oh, the Gray Wilevinsky is this sculpture that was in a show in London. It's about the cowboy world, and I found really, really interesting. Also, he has this sort of objects and some puppets, and is a very young, talented artist also that different curators are speaking to him. And some artists have the ability to move around, and Gray has the ability to go around the world. So if you want to be successful on this world of young artists, you are sort of a nomad, because you need to find shows, talk to different people, and try to open different kinds of windows of opportunities. So I love this culture of the rocker and the heel and the face of the bull, because it relates to the rodeo life, because these artists born and raised in Texas.
Yeah. So
well, many people right now discuss about new ways of expression. I think new media is a very interesting field. Matt Cobson, I discovered him 2 years ago. He creates new narratives with lasers. So those are laser projections with sound. And I was in Brussels, and he has a show with Clearing Gallery, which is an amazing gallery based in New York and Brussels. And they had a show of Matt. Matt is brilliant. So he's less than 30 years old, and he creates all this world of lasers that he projects them, and they speak to you, and they create really magic. He's a very interesting artist. 2 weeks ago, I was in New York, was a show of Michelle Ucotter and this gallery called King's Leap. And I found these small paintings so profound, so interesting, that you can get deep and deep and deep into the images, that I found really very, very interesting. And then I pick, I'm not taking too much time to speak about the artists, because if not, we will never end.
Oh, the next one will be Nora. Nora, super, amazing.
There is a young artist, she's 30 years old. She is Croatian. She lives in Amsterdam. She went to Rijksacademy. Rijksacademy is an amazing institution.
True, yes.
And also, I visit Rijksacademy to try to see which artists are coming from there, because it's a great source of information. Nora is a performer also, and she does all these fantastic wall paintings with phrases they are so powerful, and you can connect deeply with them. And also she does paintings. Nora, she will be a star. Nora had all the entrance to Freeze. She made an intervention in London to all the entrance to Freeze. And she's going to be in Art Basel in Miami in the next 3 weeks. And it's amazing how fast she moves, and also how much she spends time and money in order to get the best professors to improve her knowledge, to train herself on how to express. She's really, really someone that we will remember on the long run.
Yeah, and also she was, what I wanted to point, that she was represented by Lambda Gallery, that is gallery from Pristina. And they were very brave to support her almost in the beginning, and now she's with the big galleries everywhere. So yeah, I just wanted to say that galleries all over the world are doing a great job in developing artist names that are then confirmed and considered to be great artists from the, I don't know, from, let's say, the Western world. So yeah, it's great that you are also having an eye on what is going on everywhere.
That's the idea. Oh, this was from 3 or 4 years ago on Freeze, New York. I saw it. Her name is Olivia Erlanger. She's an American artist. Her work has evolved a lot from this kind of works. He had a show with soft opening this year in London. And she's a very interesting person to discuss. And she has so many things on the back of her head that is really, I'm sure she will continue building a successful career.
Super.
Omari Douglin, he's represented by Tita Gallery in New York, young gallerist, has less than a year. And I found her paintings really good. He's going to have a group show right now in Los Angeles. And he's also someone to watch closely on the painting side. talking about collecting is connecting. This work is of Sandra Paulson. Sandra is from Angola. She's from Angola. She's represented by a gallery from Angola, and I discovered her work during Arco this year, and she had she was on the solo project. So the two curators introduced me to the work. These chairs are made of cloth. She went to St. Martin's. She studied fashion. Normally, when you meet an artist that comes from fashion industry, you have some kind of preconcepts. But in this case, she get into very, very deep in reality and her country and anthropology and different subjects that really, really was not like zero commercial. And I get into her. I really, really love these works with the chairs. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And the other one are bests of that people use to deactivate personal minds. It was shown on at least. I had the images because someone sent it to me, but I found her very, very interesting. What she thinks and what she's able to make, and she has invited right now to a museum for a show. So she will be an interesting career in the near term. And to finalize, we were discussing about media. Yeah, I love video. Yesterday I was on a home where they were doing mapping on a garden with different videos. In this case, it's Sandra Perry. She's an American artist, and she uses the exercise machine, but she creates all these screens where she put the videos that she makes, which they can blow your mind. No, she's an artist who's on her 30s, based in New York. She worked with a gallery called Bridget Donahue, who has an amazing program in New York. Bridget also represents Martine Sims, which is one of the highlights on video art on her generation. Also, who has it? Martine. We have Sondra, Jesse. What's the name of the other artist? Well, I will remember them. But yeah. I want to share some names just to make this dialogue different and with different kind of information, so people then can do their own research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, for example, we see this work now, and probably we have some just interruption in talking about the artist. So I just wanted to ask you now, you obviously are interested in collecting different media, and for example, if collector is buying a work in this COVID time, for example, and you could not experience the work personally, for example, how you can get interested or decide to enter, to have your collection, for example, a piece to enter your collection, like this kind of installation, this video work. For example, do you have barriers in that, or do you have any barriers in collecting different media?
I love challenges. If it's good art, I don't care about the size or which medium they use. Mm-hmm. If I think I really like it, and I like what's the critical thinking behind, and I see that the artist is going on the right path, I'm not afraid of taking risks. But it's difficult when you live far away from all these places where the art is happening. So you develop a digital eye because you buy by PDF.
Yeah.
So you take risks. I only made once a mistake. The rest of the time, it was with a photograph. That when I saw it in real, was a disaster. But the rest of the times, I think my digital eye is like a muscle. It gets trained, no?
Yes. And how to train our digital eye, for example. So it's important to read about the technique, about the size. You need to have experience with the real artworks before to start buying digital. No.
Oh, for sure. It's a long process. And some people right now with this digital world, they think that the role of the gallerist, you can jump that role. Mm-hmm. And it's not fair and it's not good, because there is so much information on the web, and probably what you are looking is not as good as you think is it. So I strongly recommend to do the homework, and buy digital from people who you can really trust.
Yes, this is very important. This is something I really discovered recently, especially in the pandemic, because many of my collectors, we were really talking about how you feel the artwork. It's about feeling the artwork when they wanted to buy something that they can see in real. So the context started being having real importance. And for example, if I may share my experience during the COVID time, I strengthened my relationships with collectors because we were spending more time talking about art and probably understanding this digital eye. And after, some collectors, they bought works that they didn't see for 1 year, and then after 1 year I was very happy to understand and feel them happy when they first encounter with the artwork. So this is real happiness, when you are part of this being, I don't know, accompanying the artwork and the artist in this process of selling art. But nowadays I also see very young collectors interested on NFTs or digital art or photography. So they just buying things and they don't know how to live with art. So it's important, it's like to know how the artwork looks like, for example, how to ask questions, because you need to know really, what is the technique, for example, the size, the printing technique, if to ask if the work is framed, to ask for certificate and so on. So to buy digital, you really need to know the art world and artworks. This is my experience, and maybe it's good point to, it's good to be said.
You need to do the homework. If you don't do the homework, you're done.
Yeah, it happened to me. So I was leading some, actually, because in Bulgaria we need collectors, they really need education. So I was having, once I proposed to my collectors to make short educational art course, how to buy contemporary art, because people, they want to buy, but they don't know how to approach this market. So
It's true. And also, if it's your first art fair and you go with no one that can lead you on the fair, you get lost.
Yeah.
And you will hate it. I do babysitting a lot, and I make the joke of babysitting, but my friends or people who I know that they want information, I work with them the art fair for a while. I introduce, because if you help people to avoid mistakes, they will get the taste, the feeling, they will get in love with this world. But if they make mistakes, or perhaps they have a bad advisor, or sometimes people buy from decorators. Decorators are the cancer of contemporary art world, because they buy the painting that matches with the red sofa. We don't want that. So, no, it happens to me. So I'm always sharing. I like today, I'm sharing the names that I pick up like the last month in New York, most of them. And why not? Life is to share good things, But some people play the ego game, but in this case, they shouldn't be. You should be sharing knowledge.
Yeah, this is important. No ego game, and just to be honest and to be truthful. So this is very important. So would you like to continue with some artists? I don't know if
I think I put you enough today. People are going to get crazy. Too much information.
Okay. So then, talking about Art Advisor. So did you ever had Art Advisor, or how you, for example, for you this is helpful or not?
I begin my journey alone. During years, I decided not to have one, but at a certain point, I realized that I was missing too many things. So yes, I work with an art advisor since the last 2.5 years, and we focus on young contemporary, and it's extremely helpful. because he's there, he's watching, he sent me information. Then we discuss the artwork. Some of them I can like it or not like it. Some ones I can get it or not get it. But it's really, really helpful if you have the right one. And especially with advisors, there is a world of trust. You know?
Yeah.
You need to trust. And also, I know where I go. So in my advisor know what I like, where I go, and we have very similar tastes. So there is a great synergy. His name is Franklin Melendez. He's based in New York, and
Hi.
he has he, he has
Welcome.
great clients, big clients. I'm the tiny client because I focus on young contemporary, but he
Yeah.
loves also to do research on these fields, and we are permanently talking and sharing like new knowledge, and that really enriched the journey.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel that it's if you have right advisor and right collector, it's the best. You can really go further in developing artists, discovering artists, and going further in the dialogue. Yeah, definitely. And talking with the relationship with galleries, for example, why for you it's important to maintain relationship with the galleries and to buy from galleries, because many collectors they think like if they buy with from artists, the relationship is more stronger, or they don't understand why galleries are important in
Well,
this
if you're
scenario.
going, if you're going to buy an artist, you want to buy an artist that will build a career and he will grow, no? But if you're an artist that you skip the galleries, who is the one who gives you support, who help you with the build, who help you to construct an institutional base, if you are cheating your gallery, you will never arrive to the next corner. So you need to find artists that believe on the system, they respect the system, and they want to move along the system.
Yeah, this is true. To be connected, to be connected. Sometimes I realize that artists that don't want to be part of the art system, they just want to stay in their studio and they are not open to share their artworks and to participate in life, more or less, to go on the playground, which is essential, you know, for their own actually development. But also it's important to be in contact with the right galleries, because we know that it's like there are galleries and galleries and galleries. So
All
much.
depends. All depends what you want in life. If you want to be an artist that stay in your city and don't go out, that's his option, you know. But if you want to be an artist that you want to go to art fairs, to be known abroad, to build a career abroad, you need to leverage on galleries and curators and institutions. Is the only way.
Yeah.
There are totally different approaches, but the approach I like is the artists that work with a gallery and they build a career globally.
Yeah, and when you say about globally, since you are based in Peru and you support a lot the art scene in Peru, and you are co-founder of Artus, this platform in Peru to support artists through residency programs abroad. So how you help? Can you tell us more about this? How you have the scene to become international in a way?
Yes, this platform was found by four friends. All of us were interested in how to support the local scene and how to help young contemporary artists. And we realized that the only way or the best way that we could support them is giving them new opportunities. So we developed this cultural platform that we have signed agreements with top residency programs in Europe and other
Mhm.
parts of the world, such as Gasworks, Delfina, Wheels, and it's coming a very important new one in Europe. So we do an open call in the country. The artists apply, and we have an independent curator that does the pre-selection, and then goes the final list that could be 12 goes directly to the residencies, and the residency they pick the artist that they think is the best one that will match the group of artists that will assist to the residency. Because the residency, some people around the world they say, "Oh, I'm going to a residency in my country," and I think
Yeah.
it's not the right concept, because A residency, to be successful, you create a system. You need to have a minimum of artists participating, that they can dialogues, discussions, they can question themselves, but you need to have a group of artists living together to really build this type of community environment. I was lucky to be invited to spend a week at Delphina Foundation in
Yeah.
London.
Oh, yes,
I,
yes, yes.
I
This was
live,
really, yeah, this was
I
very
live with,
nice.
it was a unique experience. I wake up
Yeah.
with the artist, we cook breakfast. After breakfast, you have a more relaxed relationship. You break boundaries. Then we go to do portfolio visit, and then they took me all over the city, collections, institutions, shows for a week. It was for me being like it was like being on Disneyland. And Aaron
Yeah.
Cesar, the one who runs the,
Yeah. Yeah.
is brilliant. That guy is so fast, so intelligent, and he knows what he's doing. And the impact he's having on the artists with this residency is huge. It's very interesting. And right now, for example, coming back to Artus, we just opened Artus Ecuador with a partner, and we have two more countries coming in Latin America that they will adopt our model. So we will be sending 4 different countries artists to residencies in Europe, and we're signing an agreement with some in the US. So it's a really good way to take out artists from local environment and give them the opportunity to discover the world and to become more global. I think it has a unique impact.
Yes, yeah, this is obviously, yeah, this is very important, this exchange and experiencing the outside world. But also the local community and local scene is very important. So you are also part of the acquisition committee of Museo Arte de Lima, Mali, in Peru.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what's your involvement and how this
No,
functions?
I'm the chair of the committee. It's very
Yeah.
interesting because, well, with pandemia, it's very difficult to have people like supporting institutions, and we did very well. And our group stay with us. I work with 2 curators. One is Sharon Lerner, she's the head curator of Mali, and Tatiana Cuevas, who is a very important curator from Mexico. She's the director of a museum also there. And they do the homework, and then they present to the committee different kind of options about mid-career, young career artists, and we acquired them. But also, what has been new this year is that the committee was able to buy a commission of an artist without knowing what he was going to produce. The
Uh-huh.
artist, the artist is called. Well, he already discussed with the curator, but the committee didn't saw the product. So they know they're buying an idea that will become real. The artist, his name is Arturo Camella. He's also on the triennial of the new museum. He's brilliant. His paintings are unique. You should Google him on the triennial. He
Mm.
worked with Green Gallery in Holland and New York. He's opening a show in New York, I think, next month. But Arturo, he has an amazing career he's building. And also, it was very interesting that on the museum, the committee was able to buy an idea that will become real.
Yes, this is true, and this is great support for the artists to inspire the artists to make all this happening. And when you mentioned the art scene in Peru, can you tell us how is the collector scene then and the organization of the art world? It's just out of curiosity.
Well, Peru is a small country, oh,
Yeah.
but we have very good talent. Art, we have very high quality of artists, and we have local production, which is very good.
Mm.
I think we have very. For example, Arturo lives in Amsterdam, and her partner Claudia Martinez also in Amsterdam. But we have good artists around the globe, and also the next generation. They are very talented here. So that's why we can send them to residencies abroad in order to help them to go to the next layer. No?
Yeah, hopefully in Bulgaria we can welcome artists from Peru, especially me. I'll be very curious to discover the art.
Well, all the windows are open. More than happy to help you.
Super, super. Yeah, I think Bulgarian art scene also needs a little bit of variety and vibrations. Yes. So you also are part of the International Leadership Council in the new museum in New York. How different is your involvement there, being part of this great, innovative institution as new museum?
Oh, I think that has been one of the greatest invitation I had on the art world, because the new museum is a leading institution on the contemporary art world. They are ahead doing research and looking in 10 years ahead. The group of curators are amazing. They don't have a collection, so they just do shows and research and support different kind of projects. And the group of people there are really, really wonderful. And on this committee, on this council, there are different collectors around the world that you begin friends, and everyone is trying to support and to do things around the world.
So this is also your way of promoting artists you love, you like, that are part
No,
of
no, no,
the art
no,
scene.
no. On that, no, you don't promote artists there, because the ones who do the homework there are the people in the museum, the curators. But you have the lack of learning and discovering what they're doing and sharing. It's a fantastic world. And I think what they have done on the last triennial is really amazing. Google and you will love it. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
And you were
I'm
discussing,
familiar with some of the, yeah.
you were discussing about becoming global.
Yes.
And I have a very interesting story. Once upon a time, there was a guy called Radislav Ninov, better known like Rudi Ninov.
Exactly.
He's one of he's one of your young artists and very talented.
Yes.
I met Rudi when he graduated from Goldsmith because of a common friend. And 2 years later, we were always talking on the phone, and he told me, I've been accepted to a top school in Frankfurt. I don't remember how to pronounce it. Strudel something.
Städelschule.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he told me I don't have the money to go there. So I said, okay, buy a ticket, bring your works to Peru, and I will help him. And could you imagine, for a young artist, 26, 27, to make the decision to go to the end of the world because someone tells him he's going to help? This guy bought his ticket and came to Lima. So he demonstrated that he's not afraid of the world and he's ready to conquer the world. So he came to Lima, and we were able to sell his work to different collections. Also, one in Chile, one in Colombia, and the rest in Peru. And then, well, he got some money to go to study. And then, well, we have been always talking and trying to help him at the beginning and trying to find new clients. But now he's flying by himself. He had a very interesting show in Italy with Galleria Continua also, and Continua took him to Artissima, and they sold the ceramics to a very good collection and the two paints to other very good collections, which means that the collector world is looking at him. And also you took him to Liste, which was a great window of opportunity for the world to discover Rudi, because he's a very hard worker. And here you will see some images of ceramics that were produced 2 years ago, whatever. And then.
Yeah, so talking about Rudi's work, he was obviously in this transition time between Goldsmiths and Städelschule. He came back to Bulgaria just to develop his artistic language with another perspective. So he is very adventurous, and I'm not surprised of course, that he came to Peru to discover what is there, because he's very honest artist and very I don't know, it's in developing his own language. So you can see from his first works to now continuation and dedication in developing his own language. Actually, we started representing Rudi, my gallery, Sarieva, last year during the pandemic time, but I had the most greatest time with him talking about this artistic language, about the paths in between art and music and animation and language. So it's really, I really do believe in Rudi's work, and I'm very happy that beginning his career, he had people like you to have an eye on him and to support him, even from such a big distance. You never met him in person before you invited him in Peru, no?
Well, he was introduced by an old friend. Sorry, but my connection went out, but you were smart enough to continue talking. No, Rudi, as you said, he creates his own language. He's going from painting to sculpture to ceramics. So he has the ability to create his own world and new narratives, and he's very hard worker, and he has a very bright mind, because you can try to make it, but if you don't have the good mind to move forward, you will not make it. I'm sure Rudi will go to the next layer very quickly.
Yeah, so actually Rudi is saying hi. This is Rudi in Plovdiv in Art News Cafe, and this is Rudi here. Just yesterday we opened his show. I don't know how much you can see, but we opened his show just next door at Sarieva Gallery in Plovdiv. Actually, great show, and yeah, Rudi is really saying hi, and he told me go for this conversation with Carlos and enjoy. And I think I enjoy very much, but it's already 1 hour, and I'm afraid that this conversation at some point will come to its end. But Carlos, first of all, I'm very thankful that you join us, that you wanted to share, that you share with me, with us. I really feel enriched. I was feeling enriched preparing for this conversation, and you're very generous, very, very generous person in all the meanings. So I'm really, I really want to continue learning about the art world through your eyes and following what you are discovering. So I hope one day also not only me, but we can welcome you in Bulgaria. And I'll be very happy to show you around. And I am sure that you love it. Only this complicated time didn't allow us to have this conversation in person, or probably to have Rudi close to me, next to me, and to be all together.
No, for sure. It will. I have to go to Estonia in the next 3 months, so I will do Madrid, your gallery, and then go to Estonia for sure.
Super. Carlos,
thank you very
so much.
See you soon. Continue growing and be happy. Ciao.
Yes, bye. Ciao, Carlos. Ciao, ciao.